my uncle Oscar Bearrunner. I was really proud of him too. I was on guard duty one morning. It was kind of foggy, almost like Vietnam kind of thoughts in my mind, and we had had a pretty good firefight that night, and it was just getting daybreak. I looked out down the bunker, and I seen something coming down this little creek there, Wounded Knee Creek. Here was my uncle Oscar Bearrunner at the time. He was about 65 years old. He had about 4 or 5 rifles over his head, and he was walking through the water with the creek, and he had about maybe 15, 20 young people from different colleges all over the country, Indians and non-Indians, behind him, but he grew up in that area. He was a councilman for the Oglala Sioux tribe at one time. He was a board member of the American Indian Movement at Porcupine. So he was getting up in his age, but he was dedicated to that point that there he was, man. I looked out, old Uncle Oscar, man, coming down, bringing the people into Wounded Knee. Of our elderly people to change, that they would get involved with transporting of weapons. Obvious violation of the law, but they believed what we were doing was right in confronting the institutions of government, the institution of the church. They believed, in fact, so much what we were doing, they put their life on the line, men and women, young people, old people. And I think that's what really, in some ways, it antagonized a lot of the conservative Indian leadership across America. Because all of a sudden we had different entities of government saying, well, these are not the elected officials of Indian tribal government, therefore they're not really representative of Indian people. Almost like saying, like they do in colonial times, that, these are not the good Indians. These are just rebel rousers, urban Indians that are coming to disrupt as outside agitators. So there was, as we talked about earlier, there was a lot of reaction across Indian America, but for the most part, when they saw the support that we had from the elders and from the young people across America in the colleges who were flocking there of all colors, of all races, even our conservative tribal representative had to support Wounded Knee. So in a way, it's probably been one of the greatest coalitions that was ever built in the 20th century amongst our Indian people, to stand up to the government.